Where does the story of Adam alayhi salam begin? Does it begin on the earth or does it begin in Jannah? The story of Adam alayhi salam begins in Jannah. In the next ayah, keep this in mind, in the next ayah, Allah will tell us something so shocking. By the way, this is part 1 of 6 of the material we have to cover today. This is section 1, heaven or earth. That is the section we're in, heaven or earth. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. When your Rabb, your Master said to all of the angels, I am putting a Khalifa, I'm not translating it yet, I am putting a Khalifa on the earth. I am putting a Khalifa on the earth. This is a pretty interesting statement to make. Human beings, their story begins, you told me, I didn't tell you. You told me that the story of Adam alayhi salam begins where? In heaven. And Allah, before He even made the human being, is making an announcement to the angels, telling them that He is creating this thing, this human being, who He calls a Khalifa. We'll get to that in a second. He's creating this Khalifa for the earth. Where is the Khalifa made for? What, according to the ayah? Was the Khalifa made for Jannah? Or was the Khalifa made for the earth? It was made for the earth. Before Adam alayhi salam was even created, the plan always was that this creature has been designed and created for the earth. Section 1 of this story, heaven or earth, is important. Because a lot of people think the Sunday school version of the story, which is highly incorrect, is that Adam alayhi salam and his wife, our mother, were having a great time in Jannah until somehow they decided by the waswasa of shaitan, because of shaitan's whisper, to eat from that tree. The second they eat from that tree, they lost their place in Jannah, and as a punishment, Allah decided to send them to the earth. I am letting you know today, the Qur'an is telling you that actually He was supposed to be on earth all along. That was always part of the plan. That was not a punishment from Allah. Us being on earth, Muslims are very different when they think about this story than how the Christians think about this story. This life, this earthly life is a curse until we get back into heaven. Not for the Muslims. For the Muslims, even before the story began, what did Allah say? He made everything on this earth for who? For you, as a gift. Whoa. I don't know, was that my lunch or? Okay. He made everything on this earth for you. For you. This dunya is not a curse. There are some people, we're living on this earth because our father Adam alayhi salam made this terrible mistake, it's all his fault, etc., etc. We have to pay the price by, if he didn't eat from that tree, we would still be chilling in Jannah. No. You were meant to be here, just like he was meant to be here. But that creates a really, really big problem. A problem that I have talked to thousands of young people about all over the world. All over the world. The same question over and over again. But before I share that question with you, let me tell you a story that has nothing to do with Adam alayhi salam and has nothing to do with any of this evening. It's just a complete distraction. Or is it? Let's see. There's going to be 2 stories that I tell you. Here's the first story. There is a man who works at a company. He's a good employee. He's doing a good job. And his boss sends an email to the entire department that we are going to transfer this guy to Mississippi. We're going to move him out of New York or New Jersey, and we're going to move him to Mississippi. He's being transferred this week. The only person who never got the email is the guy himself. He's the only one who never got the email. Okay? Now, the next week, the guy comes into his office 30 seconds late. His boss says, can I talk to you for a second? He says, yeah, sure, what happened? You were 30 seconds late. And I specifically told everyone in the office to be at the office on time. We don't tolerate this kind of behavior. You are being shipped to Mississippi. Is that fair? Everybody else in the company already knew what? That he was going to be transferred. And as a matter of fact, one of his friends who got the email shared it with him. Hey, by the way, you're about to be transferred. And while he was talking to his friend, he got 30 seconds late. And he walked into the office and the boss says, "You're going to be shipped to Mississippi." And he says, "Excuse me? No, no, no. You're not shipping me anywhere because I was late. You're shipping me because you already decided that you're going to ship me. That was the plan all along. That's not my fault. You already planned all of this. This is all a trap." I'm not talking about Mississippi, am I? Allah created Adam alayhi salam. He always meant to send him where? On the earth. Iblis comes and tells him, and this is actually in the Quran, Iblis comes and tells him, "You need to eat from this tree." By the way, that tree was far, far away. Jannah is much bigger than earth. And there are lots of trees in Jannah. And all of them are full of fruits. Dhawata afnan. All of them are full of fruits. All of them have all kinds of, and they come to you. The fruits come to you. You know, you don't even have to make any effort. You're just told, just don't go near that one tree. That one tree of all the trees. And then Iblis comes and says, "Hey, by the way, from what I know, you were not created for Jannah. You were created for what? The earth. And you need to eat from that tree, and let me tell you why. Because the only kind of people that can stay here are either angels or permanent residents. You are neither of those things. Eating from that tree will either turn you into an angel, both of you, you'll become angels, or you will become permanent residents." I'm not making this up. This is all in Surah Al-A'raf, which is the surah we're not talking about today. إِمَّا تَكُونَ مَلَكَيْنِ أَوْ تَكُونَ مِنَ الْخَالِدِينَ. Either you'll both become angels, or you'll become permanent residents. So the motivation that was given to Adam alayhi salam to eat from the tree was actually had to do with his transfer. You need to understand this point. His transfer to where? The earth. He makes the historic mistake that he makes. Our mother makes the mistake with him. They eat from the tree. Allah decides to send them where? The earth. What could they turn around and say? Excuse me, you were always going to send us. You issued an email to all the angels that you're creating a Khalifa for where? The earth. You even decided that before we were even created. Let me tell you the question young people ask me all the time. If Allah already knows what I'm going to do, how's it my fault? Allah's already decided where I'm going to end up. It's all a setup. The first, and by the way, the question of predestination is the oldest question in philosophy. Any of the students here, any college students here that have taken a philosophy course, you have dealt with the predestination problem. People that aren't even philosophically inclined have heard about this problem. Allah already knows everything, how is it my fault? The first human being on the earth was actually the first human being that could have asked the same question directly to Allah. But let me tell you another crazy story before we wrap this point up. Heaven or earth. Let's understand another part of this problem. I'll give you another story, and that has to do with another guy who works at another company. And he started as a janitor. He started just the lowest possible job in the company. And he got promoted a little bit. They let him become a security guard. He got promoted a few years later. Now he works at the front desk. He got promoted a little later. And after a few years, now he's actually an office manager. And he kept getting promoted. He started outside as a janitor, and 40 years serving this company, he is now the vice president of this company. He's been promoted throughout the years. And now he's in this executive position. There's only one job higher than the VP. Who's that? The president. One day, and let's imagine that you work for the guy. You're just sitting outside his office, you're his secretary, right? And the president walks into the office with this 16-year-old kid with a baseball hat on sideways, chewing gum. This 16-year-old, and the president says, "Hey, by the way, VP, listen, this right here, this right here is your new VP. And you need to give him your chair, because that's his chair now. And why don't you go run and get him some coffee?" What do you imagine happened next? If the VP that has made his way up over the course of 40 years is now being told to serve some 16-year-old coffee because he has his job now, what do you imagine is going to happen? You're going to hear some serious yelling and screaming. "What are you, crazy? How old is this kid? He's still in diapers. He's going to take my job? You know how long I worked to get up to this position? You can't do this to me. This is ridiculous." Aren't you going to hear the story? And if you do hear it, who do you sympathize with? That's the really hard question. Who do you sympathize with? The kid or the VP? The VP. But I'm not talking about a VP, am I? Who do you think I'm talking about? I'm talking about Iblis. Shaitan worked his way up. He even started getting considered among the rank of the angels. And finally, they've put a rebellion down on the earth of other jinn that disobey Allah. And they come back victors, ready to be honored by Allah. And Allah makes the announcement, you need to do sajda to who? Adam. Excuse me? Who's he? What did he ever do? I just did so much work. I've been doing work for so long. I have provided this administration of Allah so many services. Where does he come along from? Now you know why I'm bringing this up? Because I'm comparing two individuals. I'm comparing Adam alayhi salam and Iblis. Listen carefully. Adam alayhi salam was honored by Allah. Yes or no? Iblis was honored by Allah at one point. Yes or no? Yeah. Adam alayhi salam was given a position even in some sense higher than the angels. Iblis, some argue leadership over the angels, some argue even at least at the rank of the angels. He was given a high rank too. Adam alayhi salam ended up disobeying Allah, yes or no? He did. Iblis disobeyed Allah, yes or no? They have a lot in common. Up until now, they have a lot in common. But there is one difference. Adam alayhi salam, when he was demoted, when he was sent down to the earth, he could have asked a logical question. And his logical question would have been, Ya Allah, you always planned to send me to the earth. How is this my fault? Couldn't he have asked that question? Sure. But did he ask that question? No. Iblis can also ask a logical question. خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِن طِينٍ. You made me from fire. You made him from dirt. What is he worth? Look at him. It's actually pretty logical. It is logical. Both of them were in a position to ask or make a logical complaint to Allah. And yet, one of them is cursed forever, and the other one, the door of hope remains open. Why? Because one of them decides that whether things make sense to me or not, I have to trust the wisdom of Allah. Whether things make sense to me or not, I have to trust the wisdom of Allah. If there is a fault, whose fault is it? My own. I have to take personal responsibility. I did something wrong. Who is that? Is that Adam or Iblis? Who takes personal responsibility? Adam alayhi salam. And Iblis says, actually, you made me slip. You knew I was going to mess up. فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي. You caused me to be misled. He starts blaming Allah. When you mess up and you blame Allah, you are following the sunnah of Iblis. And when you mess up and you admit that you're the one who's wrong, instead of blaming the qadr of Allah or it was decreed by Allah, then you are following the sunnah of Adam alayhi salam. That's the difference between these two. Now let's take a step further. The earth, I told you, is not a curse. There's a common Christian creed among many from ancient times. Common Christian misconception. The earth is a time of punishment. Human beings are born into sin. Not the case in Islam. Allah says, وَجَعَلْنَا لَكُمْ فِيهَا مَعَايِشْ. We put on this earth means for you to live well. Allah wants you to live well on this earth and gain your place back into Jannah. But one more important point before I go on from the subject of heaven or earth. And this point has to do with, again, personal responsibility. There's a lot of philosophical discussion about predestination and if Allah already knows, how is it my fault? If something bad happens, it happens because Allah let it happen. So how is it my fault? When people come and ask me this kind of question, even though I can't technically do what I really want to do because it's illegal, but I imagine if I were to be able to take a shoe and throw it at the guy's face, would he be offended? Who would he be angry with? Me. And I could turn around, no, that was the qadr of Allah. You see, Allah decided that you should get hit in the face with my smelly shoe. This wasn't actually up to me. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have done it. You see? But the problem is, no matter how much I try to convince him that it wasn't me, it was who? Allah. He still stays mad at who? Me. I say, okay, fine. You want to hold me personally responsible for what I did instead of blaming Allah. Oh yeah, Allah did it right. You hit me. You hit me. Okay, fine. You want me to hold personal responsibility? Why don't you take personal responsibility then? The question is entirely about what? Personal responsibility. That's what this question is about. Adam alayhi salam decided to eat from the tree despite Allah's instruction, yes or no? Yeah. And he had to take personal responsibility. And he had to say at the end of the day, رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا. As opposed to Iblis, who put the responsibility to Allah. If Adam says we wronged ourselves, Iblis says, you made me slip. You made this happen to me. You're the cause. Subhanallah. That is the first of 6 parts of the story that I wanted to share with you. Here's the second. What in the world does Khalifa mean? Because at the end of the day, Allah says, إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ Khalifa. I am putting a Khalifa on the earth. And Khalifa means many things. I'm only going to highlight 3 of those things to you. The first of them is a successor. It's a big word in English. I know, I'll explain it. Inshallah, it'll become easy to understand. I am putting a successor on the earth. Allah Azza wa Jal describes successors. Sometimes, for example, if a principal from a school retires and somebody else takes his place, right? The school hires a new principal. That new principal will be a successor. That would be, in a sense, a Khalifa. Not in the political sense, in the Arabic sense. In the Arabic sense, that's actually a Khalifa. Or there used to be the head of a family, and the head of the family, the grandfather passed away. Now the oldest uncle is the person they go to for advice. That oldest uncle is now the what? The Khalifa. He's the one left behind in charge. So this is an idea of charge. I will leave somebody that will keep passing on responsibility. This is the first meaning of the word Khalifa. In other words, you were passed a responsibility from the people who came before you. And you are going to have to pass responsibility on to the people that come after you. That is especially true within your own family. Your parents handed you certain responsibilities, and one day you'll become a parent, or you're already a parent, and you're in the process of handing the same responsibilities down to your kids. About this, Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Qur'an, وَرَبُّكَ الْغَنِيُّ ذُو الرَّحْمَةِ. It's such a beautiful ayah. Your Rabb, your Master is ghani. He doesn't need anybody. He possesses all kinds of love and mercy. He does not need you on this earth. And then He says, إِن يَشَأْ يُذْهِبْكُمْ وَيَسْتَخْلِفْ مِن بَعْدِكُمْ مَا يَشَاءُ. If He wants, He could remove all of you Muslims. He doesn't need any of you. He could remove all of you. And He could replace you after you. He could succeed you. يَسْتَخْلِفْ, same root origin. He could replace you and succeed you with whatever He wants afterwards. Another place He says, إِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَكُونُوا أَمْثَالَكُمْ. If you turn away, He'll just replace you with another nation altogether. He doesn't need you. Islam will be succeeded by other people, even if they're not even from your own ethnicity. It will be succeeded. That's the first meaning of Khalifa. The second meaning of the word Khalifa is a really interesting one. Khalifa means someone left to their own devices. If I go home right now, if I say, hey, and all my kids are sleeping, only Walid is awake. Walid, you're awake. You're in charge. He's 5 years old. You're in charge, Walid. Don't eat the cookies. I'll be back in 5 minutes. For those 5 minutes, Walid is what? He's a Khalifa. Khalifa Walid. Okay? Now Khalifa Walid, you know why he's a Khalifa? Number one, I left him behind. He takes my place as the guy in charge, little tiny guy in charge. But the second reason he's Khalifa is in those 5 minutes, he has the freedom to do what? Whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. I mean, I've asked him not to eat the cookies, but I'm not there to check. I'm not there to check. In those 5 minutes, he could literally do whatever he wants. He has the choice. In other words, when you say Khalifa, someone left to their own devices, you necessarily mean somebody who has a choice. They can do what you asked, or they could do otherwise. I'm going to let him make the decision himself. Allah has made an announcement to the angels that I will put someone on this earth who I will leave to make the decision his or herself. Allah is not going to force any decision on you. You're going to have to decide whether you want to wake up and pray or not. You're going to have to decide whether you tell the truth or not. You're going to have to decide whether you have a permissible, good, blessed relationship or an impermissible, cursed, evil relationship, a secret relationship. That's all going to be up to you. You're going to have the choice on what to download and what not to download. You're going to be a Khalifa. This is the second meaning. Now here's the third meaning. It actually means stewardship. Someone given a responsibility by somebody else. Not just to take somebody else's place, but to take responsibility. And this is different from taking ownership. Actually, a Khalifa means somebody else handed it to me, and I will have to hand it to somebody else, which means I don't own it. I don't own it. Human beings will be sent on this earth, and the ones who understand that they are Khalifa will understand that they actually own nothing. Lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. Allah alone owns whatever's in the skies and whatever's in the earth. No matter what you and I think we own. We own these clothes, we own these shoes, we own the car. We think we own this stuff, but by the way, we are going to have to return all of this stuff. And we're going to go, and we're not going to take any of this stuff with us. As a matter of fact, we are so beyond the scope of ownership, we don't even own our own physical body. This body is actually going to be testifying against us on Judgment Day. We don't own it. We're just like these little control guys inside that are in charge of this body. But this body is not ours. Technically, it's not ours. And Allah will take it back too. Even this He will take back. All three of these meanings, I'll summarize them again because this is our second discussion. These three meanings are, on the one hand, somebody who succeeds. On the second, somebody who has been given freedom to decide, to make his own decisions. And the third, someone who has been handed a responsibility. These are the three primary meanings of what word? Khalifa. This is what Allah decided He will put on this earth. You and me are going to have freedom. We've been handed a powerful responsibility. And the announcement is being made to who? Who is listening to this announcement? The angels. The angels are listening. Allah is talking directly to the angels. I have decided to put a Khalifa on the earth. Now the angels are actually quite a bit in shock. This is one of my favorite parts of this story. One of the big reasons I chose to tell this story this evening